Yes, that too. There's a huge Politico story today. Clinton Foundation and campaign tailspin. It's about a handful of deep-pocketed donors reconsidering their gifts to the Clinton Foundation. I thought this was going to happen, too. You don't mind my mentioning it. It was late last week, and it could have been early this week. But, look, it's obvious to anybody. You don't give. This foundation's got $2 billion in it, folks. $2 billion. For Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea. 3 individuals. And I know former president, former secretary of state. But you've got legitimate charitable foundations don't have anywhere near that kind of money in them. $2 billion. They don't have $2 billion in that foundation because people like them. They don't have $2 billion in that foundation because they hope they get invited to the next Clinton trip to Africa. They got $2 billion. They're people donating because they expect the Clintons to, at some point, be back in positions of power and be able to return that investment, pay back. Without the Clintons being in power, and if the Clintons continue to be humiliated, and if the bloom goes off the rose, the people that made all these donations are going to want their money back out of there. And that's what the Politico story is about. Now, the media and everybody would love you to believe that the Clintons, particularly Bill, are so popular. He is the biggest stud in the Democrat Party. And what does that tell you? Just so popular, so charismatic, so loved that people just throw money at him and throw women at him and throw anything in the world. He's such a good guy, man. He's one of the greatest guys. They want you to believe that. Don't believe it when it comes to people giving tens of millions of dollars to their foundation. They are giving that money because they expect something back. And if the Clintons are not going to be in position to give it back, or if the Clintons become so tainted in the process that the donors end up getting dirty as well, if they're not already, then that's going to cause them to want to take it. Politico has this huge, long story about this today. Webb, you can laugh, but keep an eye on Jim Webb. It's early, and I remember at this stage in 2007, everybody thought Hillary had it locked up. There wasn't even a breath being expelled with the name Barack Obama on it. It was Hillary's. It was a fait accompli. It was going to be a coronation. She thought so, too. Out of the blue came Barack Obama, and the media immediately fractured. And it took this program and Operation Chaos to maintain Mrs. Clinton's campaign all the way through the summer. If we hadn't engaged in Operation Chaos, Obama would have wrapped up that nomination in April or May instead of June or July, whatever he did it. Now, the Politico, a handful of deep-pocketed donors are reconsidering their gifts to the $2 billion Clinton Foundation amid mounting questions about how the foundation spends their money and suggestions of influence peddling. This according to donors and others familiar with the foundation's fundraising. The story is based on interviews with more than a dozen donors and staffers and operatives who have interacted with the Clinton Family Foundation or continue to do so. And the Politico says, taken together, the accounts of all of these donors and staffers and operatives portray an organization scrambling to address concerns about its budgeting, about its fundraising, about its donor vetting, while being buffeted by a raging political storm. I'll tell you this. Let's say you've got sleazy donor A over here who has donated $10, $15, $20 million to the Clinton Foundation. And he's expecting Mrs. Clinton's going to be elected the president, and that Bill Clinton and Hillary are going to be back in the number 1 and 2 seats of power, and that he's going to get paid back for his donation. Whatever it is he wants, that's why he's giving the money, and he's going to get it. But it requires her being elected. Well, now all of a sudden, what appeared to be a slam dunk doesn't look like it's going to be a slam dunk. It may be harder. And some of these donors are saying, wait a minute, have I maybe thrown my money away? Then they see that 85% of the money donated to this foundation is going to salaries, travel expenses, entertainment expenses, everything but actual charitable or other kinds of functioning donations. Only 15% of all the money collected actually goes to something like hurricane or earthquake relief or disaster relief of some kind or malaria, whatever the foundation claims that it's doing. Only 15% goes. Now, they don't particularly care about that. What they care about, the donors concerned, that's not good. That could mean the people I'm investing in to win the election are going to have a tougher time winning. If these people are going to get caught playing games with this kind of money, then this is looking like a riskier and riskier proposition. And so they're starting to get concerned. The worst case scenario for the foundation, its allies say privately, would be if Hillary lost her presidential campaign in a manner similar to 2008 when she lost it to Obama, which at least temporarily tarnished the family's political brand. Now, unlike 2008, a losing campaign in 2016, that would wrap it up. That would end the political perspirations and ambitions of the Clinton crime family. This is it. If this one blows up, if this one bombs out, there is no give us 4 more years and we'll get it right. This is the last stop. That would thrust responsibility for the foundation's future squarely into the hands of Chelsea. And she's being groomed to take over. But these people don't know Chelsea from Schmelcy. They don't know who they're dealing with. They got to trust that she's going to grow into the family tradition as the mother and father have dictated. All the while, Bill is out there. And by the way, Clinton Foundation, this is in the New York Post, Clinton Foundation called a slush fund by the Charity Monitor, a Charity Monitor. It seems like the Clinton Foundation operates as a slush fund for the Clintons, said Bill Allison, a senior fellow at Sunlight Foundation, which is a government watchdog group where progressive Democrat and Fordham law professor Zephyr Teachout was once an organizing director. Charity Navigator, which rates nonprofits, recently refused to rate the Clinton Crime Family Foundation because it's a atypical business model and it doesn't meet our criteria. I'm telling you this kind of stuff. You know, the donors, people that give big money to these people, they're not nearly as confident as you who are afraid of the Clintons are that they're going to be okay in this. I mean, they've got their money at stake. And here's a quote, by the way, from this story. Last year, former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell drew 2 years in prison. He was accused of accepting golf outings, free travel, and loans from a political donor well under $200,000 in value. Now, what this shows is you have the right politics during a time a Democrat's president, you are bulletproof. But Bob McDonnell and his wife went to jail, and they are pikers compared to what the Clintons are doing and have done.